Get away! Oh God! We up! What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? What? Get away from us! What? What are you doing? What's going on with y'all, homie? He's on camera. Guys, let's go.
What started as a fun and sunny day in the Apple River excursion site in Wisconsin quickly progressed into one of the bloodiest tragedies of 2022. From a casual swimming and relaxation time with his friends and family, Nicolae Miu found himself as the object of bullying and attack by a group of teenagers. What followed was a reaction that most people would never have expected. One murdered and many others left brutally wounded by the 54-year-old. Many couldn't fathom how this beloved and easygoing guy could perform such a gruesome act. However, his behavior after the crime was committed has left many eyebrows raised about his true nature. But all that and more will be thoroughly discussed in today's video. Welcome to our channel. Kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you can be notified when we drop a new video.
The jury finds Nicolae Miu guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as submitted.
Nikolai Miu found guilty of homicide and reckless endangerment today. It was unclear how long the jury would deliberate, days, maybe weeks. Turns out
Nicolae Miu, or Nick as he was known by many, was born on December 11, 1969 in Romania. He moved to the United States when he was 15 years old. He and his family lived in a church that took them in as political refugees. He would eventually grow up to be well adjusted into society, getting a degree in engineering and settling down with his wife in Minnesota, where he would later become a U.S. citizen. In 2020, 2 years before the tragic incident, Nicholas had a surgery to replace 4 blocked heart arteries. This left him in a weak and fragile condition. It is important to note the significance of his surgery as it plays a key role in explaining his sudden switch in character from a relatively calm person to the violent and impulsive attacker he became on June 2022. For the most part of his life, Nicholas was known for being an easygoing guy with no criminal record, no history of drug abuse, and no connection with any illegal organization. He also was described as someone who had a relatively high IQ, and he was also fluent in several languages. For the most part, he was described as a kind and hardworking person by friends all through his eventual trial period. But all that came to an end on June 30th, 2022, when Nick, his wife Sandra, and a few friends decided to visit the Apple River at Somerset, Wisconsin. It all started when one of his friends apparently dropped his phone in the water, and Nick, having his swim gear with him, decided to help him look for it. Despite the fact that the friend told him not to bother about it, Nick continued looking for the phone and soon wandered away from his group. Upon approaching a group of teenagers, he asked them whether or not they saw the phone he was looking for around the area. The teens, for some reason, began taunting and calling out the 54-year-old. They claimed that he looked like someone who would be involved in inappropriate activities with children.
What? What are you doing? What's going on with y'all, homie? He's on camera. Guys, let's go. He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say?
The taunts and insults continued, but Nick continued to search around the tubes for the lost phone, and the teenagers even began recording him. Nick didn't say much, and a great portion of the recorded footage showed Nick looking dazed. He only said a few words which were largely inaudible to onlookers throughout the period of the ordeal. But for some unknown reason, Nick refused to leave the area, and this was a big mistake on his part. Nothing would have gone wrong if he abandoned his search and left the area, regardless of the insultive words. It soon got to the point where other adults who were witnessing the whole chaos came around and ordered Nick to walk away. The approaching crowd of adults seemed to encourage the teenagers, who kept hooting and screaming louder at the confused Nicholas. Soon, the insults got to Nick, who didn't leave the river as he was told. It was then that he allegedly struck a woman named Madison Cowan.
Who the hell is this? He's said he was looking for little girls.
You're looking for little girls?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said.
Weirded us out. I didn't have that part on camera, did I?
Some young ass kid.
What the hell is this guy's problem, bro?
This guy's looking for little
We trying to have fun. Is he gonna clone you? He's gonna claim you.
At this point, one of the teens struck Nick from behind, pushing him onto the river, and they continually beat on him as he struggled to get up. He then pulled out a 3-inch silver knife from within his shorts and began the brutal attack that left 4 people wounded and 1 dead.
He hit a woman? He hit a woman? You hit a woman. He hit a woman. You hit him. He's dying. He's dying, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's not bike. That's not bike. That's not bike. That's not Isaac. Oh my God. Oh my God.
After 911 was called, Nick was arrested an hour and a half later. Initially, when the attack was over, Nick went back to meet his friends and didn't inform them of how much things had escalated. He said he didn't want his friends to confront the group of teens who attacked him.
D6 dispatch, believe we have the suspect detained. I believe we have him detained at the south.
No weapons or anything like that.
336 has a possible suspect detained at 1649. Everybody hold where they're at. We need a photo so we can determine this. I got it. I'm coming up on across the bridge right now.
Like I said, you're just being detained at this point, okay, boss? Okay.
I got a photo on my phone. I'll be there in a second.
Nicolae Miu initially acted as if he was unaware of the incident when he was confronted by the police. When he was told that he matched the suspect's description, he did not resist arrest. Nick later admitted that he felt scared for his life and said he only attacked in self-defense. This claim seems plausible since he was being attacked by 13 people at the time.
Hi there, are you Nick?
Yeah.
Hi Nick, my name is Brandy.
Hi.
I'm a lieutenant with the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office, okay?
During his interrogation, Nick stayed calm and composed, showing no sign of a logical human being. It was evident that his actions were a result of succumbing to pressure and a moment of poor decision-making, which now threatened to ruin the rest of his life. 2 years after the attack, Nick was found guilty of his crimes in April 2024. He was charged with first-degree reckless homicide for the death of 17-year-old Isaac Schuman, who died shortly after the attack. He was also charged with battery and found guilty of recklessly endangering safety using a dangerous weapon, which led to severe injuries for A.J. Martin, Dante Carlson, Tony Carlson, and Riley Madison. Most of them testified against him at his trial. During the trial, it's worth noting that none of the testimonies clearly described the initial strike by Nick on the female victim, who said she was punched in the face. Some testified that they saw Nick punch Madison Cowan. Others said he slapped her, while some admitted to having vague memories of the incident. Strangely, none of the footage from that day captured the moment where Nick supposedly punched Madison before he was attacked. The graphic video only shows Nick being taunted, then attacked, and finally fighting back with his 3-inch blade.
My dad told us to post up and then wait, and then he told us to go over and see what was going on.
Did he say to try to de-escalate?
No, he didn't say de-escalate. He just asked us to figure out what was going on.
And did you go over there?
Yes.
And could you hear the teenagers yelling?
Yes.
Do you remember what they were yelling?
At first it was help, then it was cheering, and then they were calling him names.
And did you try to ask Nicolae what was going on?
Yes.
Did he answer you?
No.
Were you telling him to leave also?
Yes.
At some point, did you see, did it change from verbal to physical?
Yes.
And can you describe what you remember about, like, what you were doing, what you saw?
I had asked
Nicolae Miu was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment on July 30th, 2024. His sentence was based on a charge of first-degree homicide due to reckless conduct. If he had been charged with intentional conduct, his sentence would have been more severe. The defense attorney argued that Miu was essentially a good man who made a terrible mistake. Regardless, a life was lost in the altercation, despite the fact that he wasn't the one who started it.
For count 2, involving Anthony Carlson, 5 years initial confinement, followed by 5 years of extended supervision. Count 3, involving Dante Carlson, 5 years of initial confinement, followed by 5 years of extended supervision. Count 4, Alexander Martin, 6 years of initial confinement, followed by 5 years of extended supervision. Count 5, Riley Madison, 5 years initial confinement, followed by 5 years of extended supervision. Count 6, Madison Cohen, 270 days of jail. Mr. Miu is not eligible for challenge incarceration program or the earned release program due to his age and the nature of these offenses. The sentences on all 6 counts will run concurrent. I am opposing a concurrent sentence because Mr. Miu's conduct toward each of his victims was part of a single continuous act over a short period of time. The periods of confinement take into consideration Mr. Miu's entire behavior, not just the behavior directed at any one particular individual. The conditions of extended supervision will include the following: maintain absolute sobriety, no possession of drugs or alcohol, you shall not enter any establishment.
Throughout the entire process, Nicolae Miu maintained a very stoic demeanor and kept his head bowed during the entire trial. When he addressed the victims' families, he showed remorse as he apologized to them, regretting his actions. The families of the victims expressed their relief at the sentencing and were surprised by Nick's apology. While the teens' actions were inexcusable, a life was lost, and punishment was necessary.
It was the worst phone call I ever received, and I feel that justice has been served. I'll keep my opinion on the sentence to myself, but I'm really glad that this process is over. I really want to move forward, and the rest of my family wants to as well, and spend the rest of my life honoring my son, and that's all I got.
There was a lot of talk about whether he was remorseful or not. Do you believe that he is remorseful? Did you believe his apology?
I'll say that I'm happy that he did apologize. I still need to process that, but I didn't expect it, and I was happy that he did that.
Scott, could you talk about how you would like your son to remember?
Well, I think the foundation that his mother started was a great idea, because Isaac was an entrepreneur himself, and just
Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated when we drop a new video. See you in the next video.